Yo, what's up? This is Fonky Ninja, and today I'm going to interview
Rashaad Hassani.
First question, where are you from?
I'm originally from New York City. I grew up in Harlem and Queens, and now I live in Washington, D.C., so that's my base. I've been there for quite a while, so yeah.
Alright, cool. And how and when did you start dancing?
Oh, man. Well, a long time ago. No. So I started dancing when I was a kid. It was something that culturally we did growing up in New York, and around my house there was a lot of music being played, and kids in the neighborhood that would dance, and I would just do the latest dance of the time, which was like in the early 90s, so a lot of hip hop movement. But I think I got like way more conscious of what I was doing once I moved to DC, and I met my mentor, and I'm with the group I'm in now. So.
Cool. And who's your mentor?
My mentor's name is Junius Brickhouse. People call him House. Yeah, we're in the crew, or his crew is called the Assassins. We're Assassins, Warriors of Light, and our company is Urban Artistry.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And he's your only teacher, or you had many teachers, or your first? He was your first teacher, right?
He's the first guy to really get me to understand what this is all about. He's the guy that I learned the most from. I spent the most time with. He's my mentor, so it's very personal. Closest one to me. I do have other people who are teachers of mine, like Damon Frost, Mr. Steen, Thomas, Locksmith, Anthony Edwards, Lonnie Green, or Pop Tart, and actually in Disco Dave. So these guys I learned a lot from.
Oh, for popping, what do you think are the most important elements in popping?
Patience. Patience, character, music, being musical versus musicality. Not just I want to accent the sounds that I've heard over and over again. That's pretty easy to do. Let's build layers. Let me see you look like the song.
Yeah, exactly.
I think innovation is another really important element. Carrying on the tradition of being yourself. I think paying some sort of homage to the past is important. So showing some historical reference in your movement. I think being well balanced. Don't be a one-trick pony. People were like this, or specialty dancers in the past, because they were growing it out in its infancy. It was what you had. You did the best with what you had. We have an opportunity today with all this information to be able to use many different types of movement. So we're very privileged. So let's not let that go to waste. We don't have to be, the specialty can be, I can do a lot of things, and I can be good at a lot of things. Then you might get into the argument of what a master is. Well, I'm trying to master this thing, so I got to stick to one. Okay, but if you're a master, and let's say you think you're the best at this thing, then you kind of cap your growth. So I think the master is ultimately understanding that being a student doesn't cap your growth, then you can continue to go up. So whether I get there faster or slower, it doesn't matter. I would rather take the long, hard road, than the short, fast one. And if that means I got to do multiple things because I have the opportunity to, then I'm going to do that,
How often do you practice, actually?
Oh, man.
Every day, that, warrior style, or just whenever you have the chance, you just dance, or...
So... My approach to practice is probably different from a lot of people, because sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's practice through writing out thoughts, sometimes it's through studying film of myself, other times it's just me thinking and then trying to move, and then that's only maybe a minute or two, and then I give it up, and then I come back to it later and go, oh, okay, let me see how this works. So I practice in a number of ways, but it's all day long. I wake up and I'm thinking through movement, or thinking about something that's related to it. So nice. A lot of training.
Cool. So how does a typical Rashaad day look like?
Oh, That's
So like a normal Rashaad day, like.
Yeah.
Or you don't have a normal day, so every day is crazy.
No, that's cool to ask actually. A normal day for me, it's changing now, but before it was waking up at 6:30 in the morning. I work at a bike shop, or actually that just ended, but it was a local bicycle shop, and I would call my kids before I left, or they would call me. And then I would go to work, I'd be there, I'd practice a little bit at work, talk to customers, I'd do some private online courses after the bike rack, and then from there I'd go to Urban Archery Dance Academy, and I teach class from like 7 to 10. We have sessions from 10 to 12. I go to sleep at around 1 or 2, wake up, do it all over again. So my days were pretty full.
If you look at the dance community right now, the worldwide dance community, do you like where it's heading to?
I think, do I like it? I haven't seen everything. I'm still kind of getting involved in other communities. From the ones I have been to internationally, there's a lot of good things. And then there's some bad things. I think like everything. I wouldn't say that I'm a deciding factor, but I think that we should ultimately think more about organizing our thoughts. I think more thinking about being accepting to what they don't know, like bringing out some new influence and refreshing their palette a little bit and adding on so we can make this more holistic. And I think also not always extracting, parts of the parts of history just for the things that they want. For example, right now the community is very competition based, and there's a lot of other parts of this thing that are missing. There's the club scene. There's the time where we get together and we have discussions about growth. We have discussions about the past and what happened then. We have discussions about how do we be stronger as a community. And I don't want to speak like everyone's not doing those things, but I know for some places that I've been that's not a thing. So yeah, just try to see how better ways to add on. Let's add on. Let's not just make it just about competitions. There's so much more.
Yeah, true. So, very cool. For you at this moment, what is your biggest goal in dancing?
My biggest goal in dancing, it changes. Right now, I want to inspire others to be themselves. I want to somehow be a source for information that they weren't privy to in the past. Like if I can be courageous enough to go against certain things that are very trendy. If I can enter more contests, and put myself in a place where I'm more visible, then it gives other people an opportunity to just see something different. I'm very much about that. And so, yeah, I think my focus is to inspire people to do that and to help them get there, be a farmer. My mentor says be a farmer, and that basically means, farmers cultivate land and they help things to grow. They're patient enough to watch it grow, they don't try to rush the process. They teach other people how to take care of the land. They make sure that toxins don't pollute it. They want to keep it as organic as possible. And for us in dance, it's the same. You get students and you try to become their mentor if you can, or you're a student yourself. But you pass on and share information that helps them to succeed. It helps them to build confidence. You find ways to get them to help other people do the same thing. So yeah, these things I think are quite important, and I find not only my dance mission, but it's something that I strive for as my life purpose. So I kind of live by that.
Cool. Yeah. What is the most memorable moment in your dance career?
Oh man. All right, let me think of something more recent. Last summer, August, I entered an event. I haven't entered in a long time. I think it was Electro Soul Satisfaction. It's a local event in DC. And I didn't plan to do this. I took my daughters with me. My oldest daughter, Ayana, wanted to compete. When we got there, she was like, "I want to sign up, Daddy." And I was like, "All right." So she signed up, and I felt like, man, let me just sign up, you know. So I signed up, and I ended up winning. But I ended up winning in front of my daughters, which was really cool for me because Ayana's really interested in the dance. Malaya is too, but Ayana's older, so she has a little bit more consciousness about it. And I felt like if I'm not the example of this dance to her, then who else, you know? So I did that because I wanted to show her, you know, some things, and and it was nice to do that in front of her. I think that's like a really memorable moment for me. And she said to me when we were driving home, I said, "Did you know how many people are really like your dad, or like, you know, what kind of influence I had?" She was like, "Yeah, you know, sometimes I look at you and I go, that's my dad." Nice. And that was really cool for me, you know, I think her opinion on me matters most, you know, sure. In Malaya as well. So, yeah, that was one.
Cool. So my last question. Do you have any general advice for all the dancers who might be watching right now?
My general advice is usually simple. You know, I don't want to impose, you know, my philosophy, but what I know helped me is be open and be respectful to what other people have to share. You know, I think if we live in a place like this, it's not necessarily kumbaya, but it at least allows for, you know, us to kind of break up this colonization. There's only one way to do. Let's be open and let's show that there's more ways to do a dance. There's more ways to listen to this song, or more ways to dress, and more ways to verbalize it and educate. Let's show different methods, and we got to allow for people to have that room to do that. I think that's important. So if I give advice, like, grow up in that, try to mix with people that can help you get to this kind of place. You know, open-minded, you know, really be respectful for that.
Yes, that's good advice. I just remembered another question.
Okay.
So, what is the best way, in your opinion, to improve your popping? I think you kind of answered it by saying taking a lot of aspects and what you said about musicality and character, but in what way would you practice it? So what's the best way to practice, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think you have to not have to. Let me take that back. Organize your thoughts.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what do you want to do with this? Sometimes it's just, I want to have fun. Accept that. That's okay. Cool. Do that. Own it though, you know. Or I want to compete more. All right, so set aside a path of competing. You know, what are the competitions? Where can you go do that? What are the different ways you can compete? Ciphers, battle there, call people out, get called out, you know, or you can go into organized events. I want to perform. Okay, cool, do that. You know, I want to be a choreographer. You got to organize that stuff. Find your goal, find your purpose, be it short or long, and make a path for it. But leave room for the spontaneity, because it's going to happen. You know, don't be discouraged if you don't reach that benchmark. You know, I didn't get that goal. Oh man, it's the end of the world. Like, it's all right. You know, but this thing is a lifetime thing. You know, for a lot of people, and you know, but don't get discouraged. Like, just keep pushing on that. You know, make those goals, organize your thoughts, work your plan, adjust when you need to adjust it. It's that simple. I say simple, but it's probably complicated for a lot. But it's simple for me to say, and I got there because of that. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of dedication. It took a lot of support from others. It took me to have to kind of push myself sometimes, you know. But it was a combination of all those things that got me to a place where I gotta still work harder, because as I get better, the pressure goes up, the work gets harder, more people want to see it, and I become something for someone else. So I gotta stay up. I gotta be an example. So,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again. Thanks very much. So, did you like the video? Be sure to like it on YouTube as well, and wherever you see it on Facebook. I don't know where you're watching right now. And if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe my YouTube channel so I be able to put up more videos like this. All right. Thanks again. Thanks very much.
No problem, man.